A group of angels in white are amputating his limbs without any anesthetic. Regardless of his screams, he stubbornly refuses to let go of his left hand. When he dies of hypothermia, the doctor directly kills him. Unexpectedly, he revives the next moment, and the left hand that was just amputated grows back. However, what awaits him is continuous dismemberment in an infinite loop. Just a few days ago, he was in a car accident and mysteriously revived, even though he should have died on the spot. He also becomes the third known subhuman in the world. Subhumans have immortal bodies. No matter how much damage they suffer, they can recover as before. Under the guise of protecting subhumans, the government imprisons them and begins endless dissection experiments to discover the secrets to immortality. The male protagonist, Nagai, has been dismembered here for 3 days, and today the lab door is destroyed. The man who comes is the first subhuman, Zuoteng Jianzhuang, who has been horrifically mutilated here for 20 years with the aim to kill every day. Now he is ready to rescue Nagai. As the first subhuman, his combat effectiveness is unparalleled. He quickly destroys one of his calves. When he gets accidentally hit by a tranquilizer gun, he shows no hesitation and cuts off his own arm to continue the fight. After a large number of soldiers are sacrificed, they finally shoot him in the back with the tranquilizer gun. Zuoteng Jianzhuang aims the gun at his own head and dies instantly. However, a few seconds later, the severed arm is regrown. The resurrected Zuoteng shoots all the soldiers and then approaches Nagai. He says that the government doesn't consider them as human beings and asks him to join his organization. After saying all these, he hands over the machine gun to Nagai and asks him to shoot the angels in white who dismembered him. Seeing their pitiful pleading, Nagai's compassionate heart lets them go, but the tormented Zuoteng is indifferent and shoots them. At this time, Nagai surprisingly shoots his life-saving benefactor, Zuoteng. Taking advantage of the time of Zuoteng's resurrection, Nagai took the doctor to hide, cut off his left hand as a bait, and took the opportunity to sneak attack from behind, but Zuoteng had already prepared. The seriously injured Nagai directly wiped his neck and committed suicide, and after resurrection, he picked up the pistol on the side and began to shoot, and Zuoteng, who was heavily bombed, also began to commit suicide. He catches up with Nagai and wounds him, then summons a mummy-like monster in front of him, telling him in Nagai's astonished gaze that it is a ghost belonging to the subhumans. But the next moment, countless black particles appeared on Nagai's body, converging towards a certain point, and what followed was a battle between ghosts. Although Nagai was able to summon a ghost as soon as he became a subhuman, which made Zuoteng feel strange, but due to the gap in combat power, he was quickly defeated and then completely dispersed by another ghost. When Nagai was about to die, the ghost actually emerged from his body again, and after saving Nagai's life, a knife killed Zuoteng, and he began to flee for his life when he was resurrected. But this time Zuoteng didn't kill him, because he was going to do something more important, pushing another subhuman companion, exposing the truth of the matter in front of all the reporters, saying that the government had been doing miserably to them. But in fact, this is only the first step of his plan. The matter quickly went hot, and the government didn't have any response to this matter. At this time, Zuoteng began to threaten the government. He would destroy the experimental base for the study of subhumans tomorrow, and with the arrival of armed men, the people in the laboratory also became fearless. Suddenly, a plane crashed directly into the building, causing a huge explosion, and Zuoteng stood up from the rubble after being resurrected and reborn, taking over the equipment sent by his companion with a drone. The government also dispatched Japan's strongest self-defense forces this time. They had a countermeasure to Zuoteng's immortal body. One shot directly exploded Zuoteng's head. Everyone began to approach slowly. 1 second before he was resurrected, they shot and continued to shoot him in the head. They grasped the gap of a few seconds for Zuoteng's resurrection every time they were killed in advance. Under this perfect cooperation, Zuoteng, who had an immortal body, had no choice but to keep being shot in the head, and suddenly a sniper rifle was aimed at them. It turned out to be Zuoteng's companion, and his appearance broke this cycle, and at the same time gave Zuoteng time to resurrect. After sending away the people in front of him with one shot, he started his own show, took hostages, and began to shoot frantically. He shot so ruthlessly that every time someone would fall, relying on his advantage of being an immortal, he completely abandoned his defense and rushed directly into the crowd to start the massacre. At this moment, Zuoteng recalled the 20 years when he was brutally dissected in the laboratory. This became a past that he could not erase all his life. Now he doesn't care about anyone and everything. All he needs is resurrection until the whole of Japan is subverted. After Zuoteng was injured, He immediately found someone to cover up, then swallowed a gun and committed suicide, and after a few seconds he was resurrected again and began a new round of killings. Even if they are the strongest self-defense forces, they cannot stand up to Zuo Teng's infinite rebirth. After a period of time, there were no living people. All of them died in Zuo Teng's hands, and the whole process was broadcast live. At this time, Zuo Teng put forward a new demand to the government. The current Zuo Teng no longer satisfies a sub-autonomous region. He wants the whole of Tokyo. If he doesn't agree, he will release poison gas bombs to destroy everyone. At this time, the officials felt a deep fear and were helpless for a while. At the same time, Nagai also saw the live broadcast on TV. He found a high level to discuss cooperation, and Zuo Teng would be solved by him. In return, to give him a new identity to return to his previous life, they came to the pharmaceutical company where the poison gas was stored, and if Zuo Teng was to complete his plan, he had to break through. At the same time, Zuo Teng's companions also came here. They began to massacre the guards as soon as they entered the door, and then came to the poison gas storage area. But Nagai had already prepared everything. He used the exhaust vent to pass the black particles on his body, because this particle can only be seen by subhumans, but it has no effect on humans in the slightest. Taking advantage of this loophole, all the subhumans present were put down by the tranquilizer gun, but only the figure of Zuo Teng was missing. At this time, all the armed men were waiting at the only entrance to the building, not noticing that there was a severed hand in the subhuman package. On the other side, Zuo Teng rode the 28 bars to a wood processing factory, jumped directly at the entrance of the crusher, and a few seconds later, Zuo Teng appeared in the pharmaceutical company. It turns out that Ajin will resurrect with the largest piece of flesh in their body after they die, and the severed hand from before was actually Zuo Teng's. Simply clapping his hands results in continuous firing. Using the method from before, the brave police officer made the ghost release black particles in the vent, successfully obstructing Zuo Teng's vision. The guard seized the opportunity to shoot the anesthetic needle and put him down, thinking it was all over. The dean went forward to taunt him, but was surprised to find that the anesthetic needle did not hit Zuo Teng. It turns out the shadow had blocked it for him, and swiftly killed all those present. Then he rescued his companion. They cut off the dean's arm, used his fingerprints to unlock and take out the nerve gas. Success was in sight, but Zuo Teng was not in a hurry to release the poison gas. He invited the brave police officer to the rooftop. As soon as they met, the brave police officer's ghost snatched the gas canister and started a one-on-one fight with Zuo Teng's ghost. After getting the gas canister, the brave police officer started running for his life, Zuo Teng's machine gun in tow. In the panic, the gas canister fell. If it broke, it was all over, but it was caught by a ghost at the last moment, and a scuffle began. All this while, Zuo Teng still wanted to persuade the brave police officer. After speaking, he threw the poison gas bomb out. At this point, the brave police officer could no longer hide. He leapt to catch the poison gas bomb, and Zuo Teng hastily shot a series of bullets. As he fell, the ghost caught the brave police officer. Out of options, he decided to shoot his parents. Using the suitcase as a cover, he jumped to the side and shot Zuo Teng, but he was also hit. Unwavering, Zuo Teng shot himself directly. The brave police officer's ghost picked him up and threw him into the high-voltage box, killing him. The halftime ended and the second round of the fight officially started. The brave police officer assembled the anesthetic gun again. This time he chose hand-to-hand combat. After being knocked away, the ghost hugged the brave police officer and threw him at Zuo Teng, an anesthetic needle directly inserted into his leg, giving Zuo Teng a shot. After catching the anesthetic gun, he took the opportunity to insert it into Zuo Teng's back. At this point, the brave police officer's arm was cut off by the spirit and fell aside. Zuo Teng hurriedly tried to shoot himself, but was stopped in time by the officer. Even though his own ghost was shattered, luckily, he was able to take down Zuo Teng in the end. Just as the brave officer thought it was all over, Zuo Teng's spirit suddenly killed him. A few seconds later, Zuo Teng came back to life. At this point, the officer was desperate, unable to summon his ghost again. Just as Zuo Teng thought he had won, the brave officer unexpectedly gave a remark. Suddenly, many special forces started raining sky, relentlessly firing their stun guns at Zuo Teng, who wanted to shoot himself but was prevented by the officer. At once, numerous freezing guns strike, instantly turning them into ice sculptures. To prevent their resurrection, the special forces shot them into pieces and collected all the dust with vacuum cleaners. Turns out the government never intended to fulfill their promise to the brave officer and had already planned to backstab and betray At this moment, the previously severed arm of the brave officer transformed and became the officer once again. The special forces hastily started firing, but Zhuo Teng smashed the glass and escaped through the window. Alas, Zhuo Teng, a man of integrity, failed in his mission. The scene suddenly changed. A hand reached out to pick up Zhuo Teng's hat. Does he also have a backup plan? Faced with a deceitful government, what choice would you make if you were the brave officer?